Welcome to Letters to Rising Leaders. It's a podcast series about God, soul, love, and leadership. And I'm your host, Tom Mohr. For those of you joining along in my book, Letters to Rising Leaders, this is week 33, and the topic is environmental sustainability. In a number of my past podcasts, I have shared a sort of word picture of this image that appears multiple times in my book. It's an image of a ladder. I call it the Disciplines of Goodness ladder. And it's made up of 7 steps, right? The first step is piety, which leads to decency, civility. Civility leads to charity, charity to democracy, democracy to diplomacy. And the final step is sustainability. And I think it's the final step because it's the step that requires the greatest widening of our circles of care. Even in diplomacy, which is global for all people, for all nations of the earth, it's only in the present. Sustainability is about all people that will ever live on this earth, our children's children's children. Now, in a moment, I'm going to share a story about Sister Miriam McGillis. But first, I want to lay some tracks here. I think it's important for us to understand that in our relationship with God, we Western culture people have tended to focus more on God's transcendence, His infinite majesty, so much bigger than all space, so much bigger than all time. And certainly He is that. But God is also immanent. He is in all people. He is in all things. He is in every atomic particle in the universe. That doesn't fit so well with our Western minds, which have been tuned into this dualistic way of looking at things. We, they, subject, object. And that duality has certainly served its purposes. It's the foundation for the scientific method, which propelled 300 years of invention. But it's also led to our objectification of the earth, right? When we see the earth as separate from us, right? An object, we're the subject, it's the object. We can exploit it. We can rationalize agriculture, even if that reduces biodiversity. We can exploit all the fisheries, even if that leaves too few fish for the next generation. We can slash the forests, even though that drives up climate change. What we lose sight of so often is this interconnectedness. And if we are going to recover, we need to get back to that interconnectedness. Sister Miriam McGillis shares that for the people that existed in North America prior to European settlers, this notion of being interconnected came second nature. It was just part of indigenous people's cosmology, how they saw the world. The water and the trees are relatives. A hunter thanks the deer slain by the arrow for giving life to the tribe. We don't think of things that way. When we are in New York City and we walk into Katz Deli in Manhattan, we order that great Reuben sandwich. We think we're ordering a Reuben sandwich, but really what we're ordering is nutrients from the soil that flowed into stalks of wheat and rye and cabbage and mustard plants. The corned beef comes from the bluegrass and fescue that the cattle fed on. And when we look up at those skyscrapers, the steel and stone rising above us once came from a hill or a mountain. Everything around us comes from the earth and will return to it. Now, Sister Miriam McGillis, a Dominican Catholic nun, started Genesis Farms in New Jersey in 1980, dedicated to reconnecting humans with the earth, to reestablishing and reuniting that connectivity. In a speech she gave in Santa Rosa, California in 1986, she said the following: "In talking about the fate of the earth, we know that its fate is really up for grabs. There are no guarantees as to its future. Perhaps what we need most is a transforming vision, a vision that's deep enough, one that can take us from where we are to a new place, one that opens the future up to hope." She then shared a poem by Wendell Berry that, as she said, anchors her entire approach to life. "In the dark of the moon, in the flying snow, in the dead of winter, war spreading, families dying, the world in danger, I walk the rocky hillside, sowing clover." We are called to sow clover. That is hope in action, and hope is the starting point for renewal. I'm going to leave it at that. The song for this week is called Rise Up. It's a call to all of us to step into the breach on behalf of God's creation. Robert Berry joins me in instrumentals, and Robert and Mary Ellen Duell join me in harmony. Enjoy.
Have you ever seen New Delhi? Have you been to Kathmandu? Those Himalayan mountains climbing up into the blue. Summer lakes in Minnesota, Singapore alive at night. What a world of beauty and delight. The coral off of Queensland features fish of many hues. The Serengeti lions roam, gazelles and leopards too. San Francisco in September is such a pretty sight. What a world of beauty and delight. But temperatures keep rising by degrees. Progress has our planet on its knees. Before we choke on too much smoke and flee the rising seas. Rise up, humanity. The Colorado River fills the taps of the Southwest. The Amazon rainforest makes oxygen the best. The North Pole and the South Pole need to stay big sheets of white to keep our world of beauty and delight. Have you seen the Southern Cross? Have you seen the Northern Lights? Have you tasted sweet, clean water on a cool summer night? The God of all creation speaks a silent, mighty plea. Rise up, humanity. In our hands we hold our children's fate. Across the mists of time they plead to act before too late. To unleash the wealth of nations, marshal all our human might, to save this world of beauty and delight. Have you seen the Southern Cross? Have you seen the Northern Lights? Have you tasted sweet, clean water Rise up, humanity.
Beloved, beloved, look around and see. Rise up, humanity. Well, that's it for today. I hope you'll join us next week for the next episode in this Letters to Rising Leaders podcast series. As I say each week, leader of goodness, go in faith to love and heal the world.